It's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Glad you're with us. Our guest is Doug Haubert. He is the city prosecutor for the city of Long Beach, an elected position. Sir, I'm glad you're with us. We both have school-age children. We want to make sure they go to school. They're young enough that they're not ditching, but some students are ditching, and you are doing everything you can to reduce truancy in Long Beach. Talk to us about the program. It applies actually in many districts.
Well, I'm proud of the effort we're making here in Long Beach. The police department, the school district, and my office together have created this program we call the Parent Accountability and Chronic Truancy Program. And it's geared towards making sure that the parents take responsibility for getting their kids to school, first of all. And secondly, if their kids are not at school and committing crimes, we want to make sure the parents know about it so they can address that behavior. And if that behavior does not get corrected, the parents can be held responsible.
And let's talk about that, because in a perfect world, we would want the parents actively involved. We'd want them to be the key disciplinarian when it comes to truancy. But these are tough times. And in many homes, there's only one parent or both parents are working. And they may not just have control over their senior high school student. How do you balance?
Well, for truancy, our truancy program is geared towards K through 8th grade. So we're holding the parents accountable to make sure that their 11, 12-year-old, 13-year-old kids get to school. And there's really no excuse for those for middle school and elementary school children not being in school on time every day. But even before we prosecute, the school has a number of intervention opportunities that they take. Afterwards, we meet with them in my office to try to strongly encourage getting the kids to school. Only if that fails do we look to the courts. And we've been able to keep almost every one of these cases out of court.
And as I understand that if you are a truant in junior high school, it is likely you will become a truant in high school, it's likely you won't graduate, and it's likely that you will enter a life of crime.
Statistically, unfortunately, that's true. The statistics, at least in California, show that if you miss 10% or more of the school year, you are likely to become a dropout. If you are a dropout, you're far more likely to be involved in substance abuse and criminal activity. In fact, statewide, in our state prison system, 75% of those incarcerated in state prison are high school dropouts.
I want to talk to you about crime here in Long Beach. I know you focus exclusively on misdemeanors. That being said, we are seeing a spike in Part 1 crimes, felonies. Talk to me about what you're seeing as a prosecutor of crime generally.
Well, certainly. I think the most important thing is we are comparing it to the previous year, which was an exceptionally good year. Overall, for the last 10 years, crime has been relatively low here in Long Beach. In 2010, we had a particularly good, statistically speaking, year, had a very low crime rate across the board. 2011, we did see an increase, and we're working to address that.
And what's interesting is, when you look at Part 1 crimes, that's violent crime and property crime. Now, the violent crime still kept dropping. It's the property crimes that increased. That could fall into your office if it's a low-level property crime. And some would say it's not surprising. Tough economic times, people turn to crime. So what is your office doing to try to address that?
Well, one of the things we noticed is that gold and jewelry has been taken from people. As the price of gold continues to go up, gold chains become prime targets.
And we see the ads to sell your gold. It's very easy to process them. And so have you adopted different strategies in conjunction with the police department?
We have. We're actually looking at the pawn shops and the brokers that are buying the gold chains and looking at what they're doing with it, and are they documenting what they're getting. Because if they're getting it off the street and they're not documenting it, there's a good chance there's a reason for that, meaning they know that it came from some illegal source.
Any hints to our viewers, whether they live in Long Beach or not, about keeping safe from property crime?
Well, absolutely. I mean, just to be aware of your surroundings, and things that we didn't see happen very often a few years ago are now happening at a faster pace. For example, street-level crime, just walking down the street, the purse snatching, the gold chain snatching.
So you need to be careful.
As people walk by.
Okay.
You definitely have to be careful.
Doug Haubert, thanks for joining us. I'm Brad Pomerance. Thank you for joining us on Charter Local Edition. Back to HLN.